that came out. All right. Hey guys, Shay here, your resident canna nurse from Kushology, and I know we've been doing a lot of talking about edibles and going over that, and I figured now would be a good time to go over what happens if our kids or our pets get into our edibles or into any of our products. Sometimes we don't realize that yes, this is a plant, yes, it's an herb, and yes, it's a medication, but that doesn't mean that it's safe across the board. Something else I know we've talked about and we've touched on is how much more potent our marijuana and our cannabis is these days. This isn't our parents' weed. This isn't our grandparents' weed anymore. And these high amounts of THC are really rough on the body, especially for somebody who's little. Kids' bodies are not prepared for the psychoactive ingredient of THC that we find in cannabis. CBD, different conversation, but THC, their little bodies just are not ready. And so what do we do? How do we have this conversation with our kids? And if we're not ready to have that conversation with our kids, how do we keep them safe? We have a couple of different options. Number one, and the one thing I recommend to everybody, is keep it out of reach from your kids. Lock it up. Invest in a small safe. Nowadays you can get bags that lock closed and have a little combination or a key lock on them, and those are wonderful options. It's a great way to keep your edibles, especially if you need to keep them in a shared family fridge. If you need to keep them separate in a safe, a locking pouch is perfect. But no matter what, lock it up. Another great option is talk to your kids about what's in your home. Personal story, I have my own children. I'm also a cannabis patient, meaning I have product in my home. Does that mean that I lock it up and keep it from my kids? Absolutely. We have a safe, it's kept away from the children, it's out of reach, so they can't get to it anyway. But I've also had conversations with my kids about what the THC warning label looks like. We've had conversations about why it is not safe for their bodies and why if someone at school tries to give it to them, why they should not have it. Teenagers and preteens, we still see this with the high doses of vaping, where yes, it may just be vaping and it is just cannabis, but we need to have that conversation that THC may not be their safest option. And as always, we're here to help you have those conversations. Come and talk to me. I have those resources and I can help you figure out ways to talk to your kids, because it's never an easy topic. Something else that we can address with our edibles is what do we do when our pets get into it? Because that can be scary too. And for those of us that love our fur babies, like having children, it can be really scary when they get into our stuff. Now with pets especially, the best you can do is keep it away from them. Obviously, we can't educate our pets to stay out of it, so keep it away from your pets as best you can. Make sure it's locked up, make sure it's not somewhere they can get into, but when it happens, don't panic. And that's true across the board. Whether it's your pet or a child who gets into it first, call the provider. Call your veterinarian, call your pediatrician, and be honest with them. Your pet and your child's health is much more important, and I promise you, it will just be better if you tell them exactly what happened as best you can so they can help you. Pets are a little different. Sometimes they may just have you stay at home, monitor them, make sure they're getting their water. Sometimes you may need to take them in. Children, I recommend you take in anytime. Just have them checked out. Majority of the time, all they need is a little bit of fluids and a little bit of food, sleep, and they're good to go. But always go. It is always better to make sure that they are checked out by a medical provider on either way, just to make sure they're safe. So if you have any questions, if you have any need for further resources or need information on how to talk to your kids about cannabis safety, come and see us. That's what I'm here for. Talk to you guys soon.